Hey guys, this is Priven with episode of Fluff-Tac. If you don't know what Fluff-Tac is, watch my previous video about the announcement. Basically what Fluff-Tac is in a nutshell, I'm going to be discussing certain high elf units, really going into the lore and the fluff of them, as well as their tactics and how I use them, basically some strategies that I've found really effective. And pretty much the purpose of this video is to basically, maybe educate and teach some new high elf players that aren't really sure how to use Spearmen, Archers, or Seaguards effectively, and to really educate myself for the more veteran players watching this video, saying if they agree with what I'm doing with the models or disagreeing, or just really kind of collaborating a bunch of ideas. I've tried making this video 2 times already. For whatever reason, I'm probably going to have to reinstall my video software, but this is my 3rd attempt, and probably what I'm going to have to do is break this video into 3 or 4 parts. So right now we're just going to go over the Phoenix King and the Fluff, and then probably each Spearman, Archer, and Seaguard. That's probably going to have to be its own separate video, unfortunately. So let's get right to it. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going right into the Fluff. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce these names. This is Morvale of Euravis. He ruled from 1121 to 1503, according to the Imperial calendar. So he's had about a 300 or 400 year reign. So from High Elf standards, that's not typically a very long time, but to humans, it's 300 to 400 years. That's a long time. And we thank him for really kind of designing the High Elf military for what it is today in the Codex and in the game. So let's take a look at what he did. Morvale, before he was the Phoenix King, he was a high lore master under the White Tower, right under Ethis, who was the previous Phoenix King that was assassinated by the Dirty Dark Elves. And Morvale had little to no experience on how to run a government, or basically as a warfare, and being general, essentially. He was a good mage, a good scholar, but he didn't really know what he was doing. He was kind of almost shoved into this position. And this really resulted in a failed invasion of Naggaroth, which is basically the Dark Elf homeland, and this completely wiped out the High Elf army and weakened the navy, and resulted in basically the High Elf military lacking in any manpower. But he had a solution for this. So like I said, he was very smart. Morvale designed the troop levy system, which is what the High Elves use today. All elves are required to spend part of the year in the military and provide their own war gear. And this really kind of bolstered the High Elf military and gave them more ranks of soldiers. So pretty much if you were a blacksmith or a merchant and you were an elf, you would have to give up a certain amount of months and leave your trade and go to your regiment and train that way. And this really resulted in all elves being able to fight and defend their land if called. And so I'm going to stop it right here, just to see if this works. If it does, then we'll continue, and I'll get into the Archers and the Spearmen and stuff. Appreciate it, guys.